models would stay. Paradise. I die and go to heaven. And there was this guy who kept showing up at the hotel. His name was Eduardo. He was this tall Brazilian man. Mm-hmm. This is kind of where the art of seduction came from. I would watch this guy. He was so smooth. He had every skill in the book.
Wow.
He was so relaxed that when women were around him, they just melted, right? And so I was thinking, what is this power that this guy has? Yeah, he was pretty good looking. He wasn't the most handsome person in the world, but he had some kind of skill that he had developed. And, he had crafted it coming to this hotel partially, because he had seduced so many of the models staying there. But I was thinking, what is it about him? And I was kind of fascinated by him. And I became friends with him briefly. And I realized it was his confidence, his calmness. There was nothing defensive about him. And the fact of him being so undefensive made him incredibly charming to women.
What does undefensive mean?
He's not insecure.
Yeah.
He's not thinking about himself. He's not in the moment with a woman going, what do I need to say to impress her? He's not there at all. He's like so on them, inside their mind, so relaxed and not thinking about himself. That's what I mean.
Eduardo.
So the leader of a group has to have a vision. It's extremely important. It's what I talk about in the War book and all of my books. You have to be the one, if it's you, if we're talking about Mark, that sees the future, that knows where the company is, that know what the brand is. You're in control. You have this vision. And you have to communicate that vision very directly and very honestly to your team. They have to understand, they have to be on the same page. So a degree of transparency where they know what you want, what you desire is very important. If you're always concealing the intentions from your team, then you're going to create chaos within your organization. That's not going to work. Of course, there are times when you don't want them to know exactly what you're up to. That's why, people don't understand my books so well. They're so linear-minded. Conceal your intentions. Oh, I've got to conceal my intentions. The game of power is subtle. Human beings are subtle. They're complex, okay? So sometimes, even when you're the head of a group, there are going to be moments where you want to keep people off balance. You don't want the members of your team to know exactly what you're up, exactly what you're thinking, exactly where you're going, because then they're just going to be, they're not going to be using their own initiative. They're not going to be imaginative. I talk in the War book about Napoleon Bonaparte being kind of the master of in warfare they call man management, motivation. And he would mix punishment and kindness. So most of the time he was kind to his soldiers, right? But occasionally he would be very mean and cruel, and he would pick on people randomly to keep them on their heels so they didn't feel, wow, I can just do whatever I want because Napoleon likes me and he's on my side, etc. There's another law in there about using unpredictability to keep people in suspended terror. So they don't know exactly what you want, so they have to try harder. You have to try harder to please you because they're not quite sure whether you like them or not, whether you find their work sufficient or not. But where you really want to conceal your intentions is with your rivals, with your opponents, with your enemies. So in warfare, it's very obvious. It's very obvious in politics, but it's also very clear in business. If everybody of all the companies that are your rivals, if they know exactly where you're headed, they're going to try and take over what you're doing. They're going to mimic you. They're going to mirror you. They know exactly where you're headed. You're too predictable. So really, where you really want to conceal your intentions is for those people who are not on your side, right? There's no purpose for other people knowing who are not on your team for knowing what you're intending to do a year from now, a month from now, a week from now. There's no good in that, right? So maybe your customers, your clients have a good sense of the brand, but you want to keep your enemies, your rivals completely on their heels, completely on the defense. You're on the offense.
Well, I keep coming back to something that I tell a lot of people I think is very important is the desire to know yourself. So people are very good at faking it. And you could be out there listening and go, yeah, I kind of want to know myself better. Okay, let me get online and get, they just forget about it because the other forces are stronger than them. You have to have a level, that if you're in recovery, a level of disgust You have to hit bottom.
Yeah.
You have to go, I don't want to be like this anymore. I want to find out who I am. I want to touch that core of individuality that I know is still within me, that soul that I believe is still there. You have to have the desire. If there's no desire there, if you're just mimicking, if you're just saying it just for the sake of it because it sounds good, I can't help you. But if it's still there, yeah, you want to start by, I mean, there are many paths you can take. A very good path is to take a journal and start journaling, right? And writing down your thoughts and writing down your dreams. And when I say that, I say, don't do it on a computer. I mean, I know a lot of young people don't know how to handwrite anymore, but pick up a pen. I still handwrite a lot of things. Pick up a pen and a journal and write it down. Dreams, I know this sounds woo-woo, but it's not. Dreams are really powerful, very interesting. They're going to tell you a lot about yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to tell you about those journeys your brain takes at night that are pretty fantastical. Okay, you write that down. You go back into your childhood and you go, what was it that made me so different, that was so weird about me? What was it that I was attracted to? As you go through that process, things will start coming up. It's like you're digging, you're excavating, like you're an archaeologist into your own past.
You know, a lot of power is thinking ahead, 2 or 3 moves ahead. And in the concealing intentions law, I talk about Otto Bismarck, the German chancellor, who was a master. He was playing that kind of game, that kind of chess on the political chessboard of Europe at the time. He was thinking several moves in advance. And in order to think several moves in advance, you know what your intentions are. You know where you're going to go in 6 months, right? And so you have to have a vision of where you're headed, but you have to keep everybody else in the dark so that they can't predict what's happening next. So part of concealing intentions, part of business, part of power is the ability to think strategically, to think in advance, to think several moves in advance. And that means having intentions, having moves that you've planned out, but you want to keep other people on their heels. They don't know where you're going to go next. I remember I did a book with 50 Cent called The 50th Law. And 50, I met him because he's a big fan of the 48 Laws of Power, right? It's like his Bible. And I remember for that book, I went to a lot of meetings with him. I was kind of hanging out with him. And he would always tell me, Robert, watch me in a meeting. I'll say very little, but everybody will have their eyes on me, right? Because when you talk, then they kind of know who you are and they start to almost disregard you. But when you're silent, particularly someone like him, why is 50 not reacting to what I'm talking about? Why isn't he saying he loves my ideas? What's he thinking? What's going on in his head? When you make other people think about what's going on in your head, you're the one in control of the situation. Whereas if they know everything that you're thinking, everything that you're doing, then they have power. They have power over you. So I would see him in a meeting and he would sit there all quiet and everybody else would be freaking out. So to sum it up, it's an aura of power. You know, business is very matter of fact, but it's also pure psychology, right? You've got to understand the psychology behind power. And I don't know what you're thinking right now, Mark. It's appearances, right? You could be wearing a mask. You're smiling right now, but you're smiling. You might not really be smiling. You might be kind of uncomfortable. You may not like me or something like that. I don't know. You're wearing a mask. So power is about appearances. And there's weakness, things that show weakness. And in my book, The Laws of Human Nature, I talk about the weak body language, the weak signs that people can kind of feed off of you. They smell it. Then there are powerful things. And you want to create this aura of power, even though inside you might not feel so powerful or feel so comfortable or secure. But outwardly, you want to show this appearance that makes people think, wow, this guy, he's authority. I respect him. Talking less creates an aura of power. It makes you look larger than you actually are. It makes make people think he's mysterious. He or she's mysterious. When you talk a lot, I don't know if you've noticed this, but people who talk a lot, there's something insecure about them. if you can't control your own mouth, if you can't control that, then what can you control? You can't control your emotions. You can't control your behavior. It signals weakness and insecurity. Whereas talking less, you're not going to say something stupid. And then when you do speak, it's going to carry a lot of weight. So it seems like an unimportant law. Oh, always talk less than speak less than necessary. But it's actually extremely important to understand the psychology of what gives the appearance, the aura of power, and what doesn't. Down to the baseline of every human being, we're all actors. Some are good actors, some act more, some are bad actors. But I always tell people, if you look at children, 3 or 4 years old, or you remember your own childhood, you were constantly pretending, you were constantly acting to your parents. You would act like an angel to get something that you wanted. You'd act all sweet and innocent because you wanted some candy, you wanted some game. Being an actor is part of human nature. It's deeply, deeply ingrained in all of us because we're a social animal. If you went around just speaking everything that you thought, you would offend everyone around you, right? If you told somebody that their clothes are ugly, that they look fat, that their ideas are stupid, they're going to hate you. You're not going to get very far in life. So you learn at an early age to control what you say, to control who you are, to control what you do. Think about your life, Mark. When you are interacting with Michael Jordan, you have a certain way of behaving around him, right? You're probably a little bit intimidated. You probably don't speak as much. But when you're around one of your other employees who just joined, you're completely different. You're acting. You're not the same person in front of Michael Jordan as you are in front of your 21-year-old new employee. That is acting. That's how we all are. We're different in front of our father than we are with our friends, right? So get over this notion that we can all just hang out and just be who we are. You're never being who you are. You're always acting to some degree. Well, let me explain to you the idea a little bit behind formlessness first, okay? So a lot of that comes from Sun Tzu, very obviously. It's an Asian idea about being kind of water and being fluid in life. But it's also an idea that for me came very much from Machiavelli. And I've noticed this with a lot of business leaders. I noticed it when I was on the board of directors of American Apparel and with the CEO, Dov Charney. And what Machiavelli talks about is people rise to power. They become a CEO, they become a leader, they become a president or whatever, based on certain qualities that they have, a strength. It could be aggression. It could be being a people pleaser, being just very empathetic. It could be having a populist touch. It can be good with words, an orator. That's their strength. They use that and they get a lot of power because they're good at it. They don't have to think about it. It's almost natural to them. They get to a position of power, and now the times are changing because things are always changing, particularly nowadays, where things change month by month, right? Trends are changing. Young people are coming up. Tastes are changing. The world is changing. Your rivals are changing. The business world is changing. And you're still holding on to that one quality that brought you to the top. You're still thinking that my aggression or that my being popular and pleasing everybody or my speaking well, and you keep holding on to that, and the world has passed you by and you're weak. And Machiavelli said, if I could create the monster, the Frankenstein of a leader in business or politics, whatever, it would be somebody who could change with the times, who they rose to power based on a strength. They see that it's not quite the right quality, and they adapt, and they move with the times. He compared it to a river, right? And you're kind of moving like the water, you're flowing with this river, and that's power. But being rigid and having a form and having a strategy that you always rely on and having a personality that you always exude to the world and perform as is weak because you can't adapt. I mean, think of your business in the last 3 years. Can you begin to imagine all the incredible shifts that have occurred in just that time?